Did we receive some more bad news regarding the release of Alpha 21 for 7 days? Well, we've got lots of info to cover and no time to waste, so let's get to it. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been almost 16 months since the release of Alpha 20 for 7 Days to Die, and Alpha 21 is on pace to break the record for most time between alphas. Needless to say, the development of Alpha 21 has taken much longer than expected, and not just by the fans, but by the devs as well. While we have seen a flurry of new screenshots from Alpha 21 lately, and hopes were raised a bit that the release of Alpha 21 is imminent, we may have received another bit of bad news.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
So today we're going to discuss the latest update news for 7 Days to Die Alpha 21. But before we jump into the bad news, let's quickly recap some of the new information regarding Alpha 21. We have received a series of screenshots depicting some of the upcoming changes. These include a new forge model, a new workbench model, and a new vending machine model. The Fun Pimps have also given us a glimpse at a new Tier 4 Army POI, as well as a new nursing home POI. And we've also received these screenshots depicting updated downtown business strips. There have also been a few items added to the confirmed list. First, there is a new entity activity throttling system, which, according to Fatal, should allow servers to handle more zombies. Next, there is a new terrain tool, which has been added to 7 Days to Die. This will allow POI designers to make terrain easier and faster. Lastly, under the section called Graphics Improvements, we see that shadows have been re-enabled on grass based on quality settings. Now, some have speculated that the flurry of screenshots and update information we've received as of late heralds the imminent release of Alpha 21 for 7 Days to Die. Unfortunately, that does not seem to be the case. If we head back to the 7 Days forums for Alpha 21, we find this exchange. A player posts, "This might have been answered previously, but I remember that during November there was hope that Alpha 21 would get released before Christmas. That obviously didn't happen, but we're close to being in April now." Without going into the when will you release the Kraken discussion, could you guys explain what led to that big of a planning delay? To which Fatal responds, "Features not being as far along as we hoped. We don't primarily schedule features based on time, but functionality. So it takes as long as it does for the functionality to work. Many devs would cut features to hit a time slot. We take the time, within reason, to get the features we want." A perfectly reasonable response and explanation, and I personally applaud the devs for taking this approach. I would much rather they take the time necessary to fix bugs before release, instead of releasing a broken, buggy mess of a game. But now we get to the potentially bad news. Another player posts this. "From what I understand from your comment and previous reports, Fatal, there are 2 serious bugs that need to be fixed for the release of Alpha 21. The zombie AI error you mentioned, and the random hole in the ground of a POI when quest resetting. Please, can you share with us something about the status of this second bug?" To which Fatal responds, "Those are only my bugs, and not all of my bugs/tasks, as I currently have 12 must fixes in various states of completion, and across the team, there are 67. That number does not mean a lot, as half of them do not need to be done for experimental, and new ones get added regularly. So, after 16 months of development time down, Fatal has 12 must-fix items to go. and the team as a whole has a whopping 67 must-fix items to resolve before Alpha 21 will be ready for release. And that is just the number currently, with more fixes being added to that list on what seems to be a regular basis. Who knows what the final must-fix count will be, and how long it will take the developers to solve these issues. In short, ladies and gentlemen, do not expect Alpha 21 to be released anytime soon. Now, it's quite possible that I am mistaken. However, with so many issues still to be fixed and more popping up daily, I do not expect Alpha 21 to be released in the near future. Why, you may ask? Well, ladies and gentlemen, game development is complicated. The further you progress in the development of a game, the more complicated it gets. And according to the devs, 7 Days to Die is nearing completion, with only a few features left to be added. So it is to be expected that time between alphas will be longer. This is just the reality of video game development. However, knowing that fact, it does raise an interesting question. What does Fatal mean by "we take the time within reason"? What do the Fun Pimps consider a reasonable time frame for the development of a new alpha? I have a feeling the Fun Pimps' definition of within reason would be very different than yours or mine, especially considering what has been announced thus far for Alpha 21. Lots of revamps, tweaks and changes to existing features, and very few items that can be considered truly new features. So I will pose the question to you folks. What do you consider to be a reasonable time frame? With Alpha 21 on the brink of breaking the record for longest time between alphas, coupled with the list of changes confirmed for Alpha 21, would you consider the Alpha 21 development time within reason? Let me know in the comments below. Ultimately, we do not know what the future holds for 7 Days to Die. All we can do is wait and see. Now, there have been a few more interesting and thought-provoking exchanges on the forums as of late. Discussions and comments that raise some rather interesting questions. We will definitely be tackling these in a future video. But for now, this is Sabin saying thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll catch you in the next one.